everybody, and welcome to a new Improve with Apollo, episode number 9. I'm going to be doing things a little bit different today. I've taken a bit of feedback from you guys, the community, into improving my show. First of all, thank you to McCormick for making that wonderful intro video. And second, before we get playing with this and introduce what we're doing, I want to say thank you for watching the videos so far, and thank you, as mentioned, for the feedback. Today, I'm going to use that, and hopefully it'll improve your viewing experience and also help you improve as fast as possible and speed that progress up for you guys. Alright, so we have a Zerg player today. Our Zerg player is named Max. His in-game name is Wing, and he is in Platinum League. And before we play the replay, I want to keep it paused for a second. I want to go ahead and read his email. So let's jump over to that. And as we can see here, hey Apollo, I'm a big fan of your show. I'm struggling with my Zerg versus Protoss matchup, and I just don't know what I'm doing wrong. I've attached a replay I just played, and I thought I was ahead, eco and army-wise, the whole game long. But then he just crushed me with his death ball. Real name Max, 24 years old, from Austria. Racing League Zerg Platinum as mentioned, playing since the release of the game. I think I do a pretty good job with my macro, but when I reach the late game, I'm not quite sure what to do against Protoss. Looking forward to your advice. Greetings, Max. And then we have the replay attached, which actually says Cloud Kingdom in Gongigretsch de Volken Ladder Edition. Improvements from the show, though, as mentioned. Today, though, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I have made, yes, the infamous notepad is back, a notepad here, which I'm going to save, and I'm going to send in an email back to Max once the video is live after he's watched this. So, episode number 9, Improve with Apollo, Platinum Zerg Max, and then key points on improvement. The key points on improvement are going to be things that I think are highlighted, because even though I think I do a pretty good job in nailing down what you need to improve on, I want physical, hard, written documentation of what to improve on that will help Max be a better player, better, faster, and being able to focus more on, instead of making this himself. Because I actually had an email back saying, off one participant on the show, saying, thanks Apollo, the video was great. I actually wrote up these points after doing the video, and it really helped out. I've improved really fast. So I'm actually going to do that for you and help you out even more so. So let's jump back into the game now and start to look at this replay on Cloud Kingdom. And we can begin it now here for Max. So we'll start the game off on Cloud Kingdom. Things to think about here for you, Max, are going to be scouting. On Cloud Kingdom, it is relatively easy to get away with scouting good and proper. You have good overload positions consistently, and we'll look at that. But as you said, your problems come in the late game. So I'm going to fast forward past the early game. You do drone scout, though, which is something I don't really use or see very often. The reason for drone scouting here, I suppose, is to deny the natural if he tries to go Nexus first. Also, you can, do scout minor details, even though it may not be necessary. For example, if somebody was to go gateway expand, if somebody was to go proxy double gateways, you're going to find out about it a little bit earlier on. And I do like drone scouting. There's no reason for you at this level in Platinum League not to drone scout. As higher up you go, the more consistent Protoss play becomes, then you can drone scout a little bit less. But this is fine here. Alright, so we've got a probe blocking your natural, so you decided to go straight towards this third base. Okay, cool, I like that. And your drone is here. He's got a gateway down really early. So this is interesting, because to be honest here, Max, I'm actually very happy with how he's playing this, because he hasn't taken a Nexus, and you've already got your third down. I mean, your natural down. You're going to be able to take your third pretty soon. What are you doing here, though, with this gas? Unless you're faking out a little bit. So we go 15 hatchery into 14 spawning pool into 13 gas. Where's the probe comes in? You let him think. Okay, so you're playing a bit of mind games here. To be honest, I don't think mind games are necessary as much, because a good player is going to be like, alright, well, he's obviously expanded because the spawning pool is really late. Let's go have a look. And he's taking gas. And then what the probe will do, if I was the Protoss player, I'd go down and be like, alright, there, cool, there's your hatchery. And then I'd poke in again, because as a Protoss player, and I think I even did it in the Protoss tutorials, is that you want to go in to see how much gas has actually been mined. So a good player is kind of always going to be able to see through your little bluff. But anyway, we have a complete wall off coming as this guy's freaking out, and you have tricked him. but this will not happen as much as you get better, that's for sure. So, you know, after this video, I don't think that's going to be too important for you to focus on doing things like this. But never mind, you are going to continue through. Obviously, Queen going to come down initially here. You have taken a gas. I don't think this is necessary either. But, I mean, it's okay. It's not necessary, but like I said, it's okay. Just like drone scouting. He knows he's got to take double gases because he's not expanding really early on. And to be honest, you've got a massive lead in this game already, just because you've got a better build. Queen needs to come down though. Okay, good. Always get the probe's always going to be there. So always just get Queen and Lynx. Don't want to fall behind on that, and you can always get the Queen and the hatchery at 4 minutes 30 or something. And Lynx want to come down too. One set of Lynx is good. Don't really need two. You can build two though, and that is going to be an Overlord. Okay, so he has blocked you. That's fine. Just continue to drone up behind this. You have one lava spare here to use. And we do now see that his natural is coming down with the drone in the main. So 2 Lings come down. You are going to continue to... Oh, you got one more set of Lings coming. I don't think that's necessary, because this is going to go down eventually. What are you going to use the other 2 Lings for? I mean, you're going to take the Zelnaga towers. You don't really need to be afraid of... Your drone's got to kill, so your drone's killed the probe. You don't need to be afraid of a probe building pylons around because you killed it off. You also see he's playing very defensive, so it may not be necessary, and you could get a little bit of an edge on that. Just a bit of an edge on your economy bit. 26 supplied at 18 tells the story. You just got a better build, and you've done it really well. So Ling's going to come down here. 4 Lings total, 6 Lings total. Okay, that's a little bit too much. I thought it was just 4. I didn't really look at the production tab, as you can see. That might be a bit excessive, say, because 6 Lings are now useless. Or at least 4 Lings, because 2 Lings to go on the Zelnaga towers, as you can see. These 4 Lings, I don't really know what they're going to do. They're going to check around though. Even though you know you've killed his probe and he is fully walled in, so he can't send out another one. This Overlord, by the way, you probably want it on the high ground to see if he does destroy one of these pylons, so he can move out with a probe. But so far, so good by you. Overlord, good. 2 Overlords in production. Just wanted to check if that was true. And we see Cyber Core coming down in the main base. So I'd be saying to myself right now, the standard timings for gases and so on. Oh, okay. This is perfect. So the standard times for gases are about 6 minutes as you're taking them, roughly 6 minutes. But because of your build, because of how things have shaped up in this game, you've probably gained yourself about a 30-second lead. And you can tell that by he's probably 30 seconds slow. At 6 minutes, his Cybercore still isn't done. He's only just taken his second gas. He's got no probes on the natural, as you can see. So all these things, if you're playing against a regular Protoss player, would be done and all smoothed out, right? So that makes a lot more sense for you to take your gases at 6 minutes. But you can now be a little bit more greedy, saying, well, if he's 30 seconds behind, let's use that 30 seconds to equal the game, but I'm going to put that in economy. So equal the timings of the game up, if that makes sense. So no longer are you 30 seconds ahead of what he is doing, but you've thrown that 30 seconds into your economy, and now you're at equal speeds again. For example, let's just pause that. If you played against a regular Protoss player, as mentioned, he would be already doing these things, right? He would have already got the probes down here. The Cybercore would have already been finished. He would have already been chrono boosting into whatever he wants to do. And therefore, you need gases at 6 minutes. But if he's slow by 30 seconds, then you slow yourself down by 30 seconds. And you don't just take your hands and mouse off the keyboard. You put your stuff into more drones and then take the gases 30 seconds later, and then you're equal again in terms of speed as mentioned, but you now have a significant drone count. And that's how to take advantages, and this can be used in every matchup, not just Zerg, in everything. If you go ahead and force a cancel on an expansion, you're like, alright, great, now I've got a lead in the game, this is how I'm going to use my advantage, and so on and so on. You don't need to build drones to push your advantage that way. You can maintain a 30-second lead in the game, but you don't need to have a 30-second lead, do you? Otherwise, otherwise the whole metagame just doesn't work, if that makes sense. Because if you needed a 30-second lead, then you'd be taking everything at 5 minutes 30 instead of 6 minutes. So just throw your economy and your advantage over there. Alright, so I'm just going to write that down actually. So I'm going to come to Notepad. So I wouldn't suggest mind games as much with gas. Also, when you get a decent lead, throw your lead. He is playing 30 seconds behind you into drones for better economy and set up for the mid-game. Alright, point number 1. So let's jump back into game now and let's continue with this. Alright, so far so good. Gas is coming down. You've got another gas coming down as well. Relatively early gas. Your drones are not that high, 34, but 20 forts. There's, you can see, as your lead. Robotics bay coming down, so you now see Robo. So upon seeing a Robo coming down, he is also chronoburst into the Cybercore, but with a Robo coming down, that obviously means that there's not going to be any DTs. It means that you can probably just go double evolution chamber into 1-1 upgrades, because going for a Robo this early on, considering the Cybercore's only just now finished, he most likely doesn't have a +1 attack, and with a Robo coming down before extra gateways, he's not going to go for any 4-gate pressure. Therefore, you don't really need a Roach 1 and Evolution Chamber down straight away. You can go double Evolution Chamber, you can go a lot more drones, you can probably defend whatever he's going to do with you with Ling heavy, Ling only. So you're going to throw Roach 1, you're just not really adapting. So that's what I'm going to point down as point number 2, is it doesn't seem like you are adapting very well to what's happening. Alright, so I'm going to forget about typos and do that later. I'm just going to speed this up. Alright, so Roach 1 Evolution Chamber down. You haven't got a Queen on the natural just yet. You do need a couple more Overlords, as you can see. Don't quite have them in the production tab yet. Okay, there they are. And we can get probably, it doesn't really matter what upgrade you get. I mean, now you've gone down this way, it doesn't matter. Overlords are getting in good positions. They're not in the best positions. This one, okay, good, you changed it, needs to be there. The other one needs to be at the back of his base. You should still be droning, absolutely. You probably want to be getting a bit more vision. So no gas is taken. So upon seeing no gas is taken on the natural, I'd be happier about 55 to 60 drones. So 52 currently. Let's see what you build now. Okay, so you're at 53 drones, which isn't bad. 53 drones is basically the minimum you want to be at in terms of drone setup to start building units in anticipation for a 2-base attack. He does not have the gases on his natural. So when you see somebody this late in the game not taking gases on the natural, it's either two things. He's using the minerals to throw down extra gateways and will attack you, or will take a 3rd base. The Overlord on the left-hand side here will clarify that for you, and then you can start to be like, alright, well, most likely he's going to attack me. As you can see now, no 3rd base. So what you want to be doing now is just building nothing but units. One thing I do see missing from you here, Max, is a macro hatchery. So a macro hatchery here will help out with your production in defending off against any aggression. You're at 3 gases, which is fine. You do not have Zergling speed, which is another mistake here, and that should have come down a lot earlier on. Because you can't build nothing but roaches. You want Roach Link. So right now, I'd probably be sending in an Overlord of my own from this location to find out what is he or does he have a bunch of gateways. Because even at Platinum level, you can't be 100% certain that it is what I said. For example, it could be just messed up late gases, as you can see, Robo Bay coming down, or some kind of funky 2-base all-in. You've lost vision of his 3rd base, so I'd probably pull this Overlord back, or at least get a Zergling there. Okay, good. So you're going to... Okay, the Zergling needs to go there, because now you've lost vision of if he's going to take a 3rd base. I suppose this Link does help out a little bit, but there is a little space here where a probe can run past you. Your unit count 55. What are you building? More roaches. Okay, good. With the roaches you have, and because you got roach speed, I'd probably be pushing out a little bit now. You've got infestation pit down. That's okay. We've lost complete vision now. This Overlord has to be, or this Link has to be, your scouting. You are going to move out though, as mentioned. This is okay to do so with roach speed, as long as you don't get caught up a ramp, and roach speed is almost done. This is okay. He's taking the gas on the natural slowly but surely. Yeah, I think you're going to find out that he's got a 3rd base a little bit too late here, because it's probably down and being built. Okay, no, so that's perfect for you. This is absolutely a dream come true. So with all these roaches you've got out, now's the time to drone again. Because with these roaches, he feels threatened. He has to play defensive, naturally. So upon playing defensive like this, you can easily drone up and take a 4th base. And then start to... Because you need to drone up, because you need the gases, right? You are taking all the gases at once. Great. So now drone up to saturate the mineral line as you now take the gases. You can throw down a 2nd evolution chamber to get melee, and you got pathogen glands already. You got your macro hatch down a little bit later than mentioned, but it's still there, and you probably want a bunch of Overlords because you're a little bit supply capped, and you do have one on the way. So I'm going to watch your production tab now, as you should be droning, but so far you've had a pretty decent game here. Okay, so We now see the Colossus. To be honest, with these roaches, with roach speed, which you almost have, I'd be tempted to come up and snipe the Colossus here. That's what I would do. Not so much the Stalkers, because that means he can position his army a little bit better. But I would have gone and sniped the Colossus. The Forge going down is good as well, and now get out. You one or the other. Now get out. Okay, now it's a little bit too much, I think. If you force fields there, okay, really force fields, but and bad force fields too. You couldn't have done too much there, but whatever the case, let's have a look at your drone mark now. 55. See, you are building roaches and you haven't droned up. So this is the biggest mistake here, is you've taken the gases, but you didn't drone up. You're not quite in the gases yet though, so I guess that doesn't make sense yet. I guess you change your mind to build aggressive units, but as soon as you go in gases, I'm going to be upset because you need drones. A lot more roaches are coming out, and you're still building a lot of roaches. You're staying... Okay, now you're in the gases, and you don't have the drones. So what's now happened here, Max, and this is where your problem is coming in. This is a big, big problem, is look at your natural mineral line. Only 7 drones are there. The third base, you have only 10. And at saturation, your main is actually fine. Your main's good. It's maybe oversaturated a little bit by 3 to 4 drones. So that's where things went wrong in this game. Really, really badly. You're overload capped as well. You should be taking a 4th base because he's taking a 3rd base. And if you're having problems in the late game, and you are doing this every single game here, Max, and I suggest you watch your replays, this is where your problem will lie. This is where your problem lies. So I'm going to shoot over to Notepad again here and say you need to find a comfort point. And what is that in this game? So hold on, I'm just going to quickly look. It's probably, where did I say it was when the roaches were here? In this game, 1140. Comfort point is now, with all these roaches out, to drone up as you're gassing. So in this game, it's going to be this. So if we go ahead and say, you need to find a comfort point in this game, 1140 min. To drone for more, for the gases and 4th base. Alright, so that's going to be quite important for you for sure. That's actually very important. Because with the new drones that you can build, you already started building drones. You built 3, but then you stopped. You want a 2nd evolution chamber to come down as well. You can start to go hive soon, whether you take a 4th base. And you're kind of missing the connection from mid-game to late game, from what I can see. That's what's your biggest point. I'm actually going to write that down too. So I hope you guys don't mind me jumping to Notepad all the time. I think it's pretty cool. Seems like you are missing the connection from mid-game to late game. Alright, so let's jump back into game. Alright, so all these roaches are coming down, so let's get back to where we were. We were roughly at like 13 minutes or so. So we're back here now, you've done your little roach damage, and let's jump back in. So now you're still building roaches, and you jump into these gases any second, don't you? Where is it? Okay, now you're in the gases. So now you're building roaches. Your income won't be able to support going double evolution chamber, won't be able to support going hive, spire, and you're gonna have to stay on mid tier. When do you start to drone up again? Okay, so you go hive and now you drone. A little bit too late. 4th base is on the left hand side. Okay, you have a lot of roaches, and you're gonna attack in. All right, so you do bring this down, which is good, very good. But let's see if you're gonna drone now. Because obviously you should be. You got a lot of money. I'm watching that production tab. You're focusing a lot on the attack. If you hit while attacking for SD, then grab your roaches and continue attacking. The game moves on. And look, more aggressive units. Infestors roaches. Your drone counts at 54. You've never hit a comfortable drone point in this game. And what you could have done, and I mean, the counter argument to this is, hey Apollo, you know, instead of building those drones you mentioned, I picked up the 3rd base. Well, sure, but if you drone and up to 70, when I said 1140, and then go right up to 75, 80 drones, then you can just build roaches anyway, and come do the same thing. Obviously, it'll be a little bit slower, but you'd have a much better economy, and you don't really have to rely on killing this Nexus, because your assault, through not building drones, has to kill this Nexus. Otherwise, if he defends and keeps a 3rd base up, you're behind. Anyway, so we have this big assault coming in. Let me just fast forward again. Sorry, as I was talking, I moved back. We're at this point now where we're taking a 4th base. The drone's at 54. Roach Infester is the unit composition. We do not have a Zergling speed, and we haven't opted to build any Zerglings. So I think that's going to be quite an important part, because the thing is, once you kill Colossus off, Zerglings destroy everything else. Roaches really won't. You haven't got any Broodlings upgrades or just one carapace. You will need to focus on that. And because of the lack of drones is the reason why you can't really afford a double evolution chamber and be able to do these kind of things. The second one. But now we do finally drone. A little bit later on, but I guess that means you can keep the pressure up, but we need a drone a lot more than just 60 drones. You need to be at like 80, 90, 100. And as I say 90 and 100, that's to be spine crawling. You don't have any creep spread either. That's something that you want to focus on. It's not as important, but it is important, if that makes sense. There are a lot of other things you need to focus on, but creep spread seems to be one. So I'm just going to write that down in our little pad here. Creep spread. And then I'm just going to give a little point on this. So creep spread should have started. Let me show you where it should have happened. And I'll just show you real fast, and then I'll jump back to where we were. So creep spread should have happened pretty much immediately. So you can build an additional queen from this base over here and creep spread. You just want one additional queen just to get the creep spread going and then start to push it out. Because if any attack comes, like for example, you've even got excess energy. So you could use it here. You do have another queen coming down. And what does this queen do? It didn't have a creep spread, did it? Okay, once. Okay, you did actually get an extra queen, which is good, but you didn't really use it. I'm just going to follow this queen for until where we were just in the game. Okay. So this queen. Okay. So obviously that's, if we just jolt to where we were, that queen's still going to be there, isn't she? Yeah. Alright, so let me just go back to the pad real fast and say creep spread. Use excess energy from missing lava and make use of that 4th queen you build. Alright, so let's jump back into game again and let's have a look at the state of the game now. So we're currently at Roach Infester. You're taking gases over here. Your spire's coming down late, so you're at hive and then you go spire. So obviously you've missed your timing here, and your late game's actually pretty poor. Your creep spread, your drone count. So I'm going to jump back to my ever so important pad again here. So your late game, your connection to late game, and then you miss spire, hive timing, creep, drones, spines, burrow for Protoss, Terran, base denial. Alright, so let's jump back into game again. So there's your big pointers there. You're just kind of missing everything from the late game. So if any kind of timing attack comes in, you've got nothing really to fall back on to defend. You go double spire now, you're stuck on mid tier, and what's eventually going to happen in this game now, and I can predict what's going to happen without seeing the ending, is that you are now going to throw a lot of resources into this third base. You won't get anything done because he's now set up defensively, stabilizing this game. And then what he's going to happen is you either A, lose to a counterattack, or B, he takes a 4th base and then you die to a counterattack anyway. So you try to come in from different angles. He's got Immortals, 3 Colossus, Infested Terrans there, don't really do too much either. They bring his army volume down, but only Stalkers, not Colossus or Immortals. Now you get in the burrow. Okay, so you do get that down. Your bases are coming down on the left and right. We do not have any creep spread still, and well, this is going to get ugly. You don't have Broodling upgrades, you're just getting Roaches and Infested Terrans. Let's have a look at your army composition. 10 Roaches, 7 Corruptors, 7 Infestors. You're building more drones. Your drone count's at 68, so it's eventually got there. Eventually. 72 drones. So it took you 20 minutes in this game to get to the drone count you should have been at basically at 12 minutes, wasn't it? 11:40. 8 minutes longer than it should have been. But you now have a really good economy. You've got 72 drones. Could have been a bit better. You're droning up more still, and that's okay. But now you're opening up yourself to a massive counterattack. Because you're droning at the point where you should be building an army, you see? So basically you've got your drone unit timing mixed up, because this is the time, as a Protoss who's on 3 bases, you should be getting ready to deal with an attack. Whether it be Spines, Corruptors, Infested, Roaches, Lings, Broodlords, you name it. So you're probably just going to flat out die to this, unfortunately. And that's the death ball effect. is that you weren't set up to defend it, unfortunately. Now you've gone back over to Roaches, which is mid-tier army again, and you never even have the comfort to go over to the late game army, and you are just going to lose to this, which is rather unfortunate because I thought you played out quite a good game. But I illustrated the problems you're having, though. I hope that you understood everything I went through today. And this is going to improve the game a lot. What I would definitely recommend is to go through my Zerg tutorial again, especially in episodes 3 and 4. Episodes 3 and 4, the games are longer. You see me go to Broodlords, you see how I creep spread and get spines down, and then you'll start to be able to build a connection with your mid to late game. But that's where you're suffering. Absolutely, that connection point is the big point. So, this is the end of the game now, so I'm going to go over to this pad again one more time, and as we come... Oh, wait a minute. You are over... unit producing, which is kind of the biggest point. Need to drone up at the suitable connection point to late game. Review over my Zerg tutorials, and you will and look deeply into how I play my connection points in Zerg versus Protoss. Copy the exact spine, creep, drone, and you will do well. Alright, so thanks for sending in your replay, Apollo, Sean Clark. Alright, so that's pretty much it for you. So I'm going to go through it one more time before we close this up, as we just make this a little bit larger and make it full screen. So these are the things, key points to improve on here, Max. I wouldn't suggest mind games as much with the gas. Also, when you get a decent lead, throw your lead into, for example, if he's 30 seconds behind you, into drones, and then equal up the timing in the game, and then go back to normal, and set up really nice for the mid game. So in a normal game, for example, let me just go over that one more time. Let's say you take gases at 6 minutes and you prepare for a 2-base attack. Your drone count is like 50 to 55, but if he's 30 seconds behind you, you drone up, you can comfortably be at the same timing of getting gases, Roach 1 Evolution Chamber, but with 65, 70 drones, because he made a mistake that allowed you to do that. And then you continue like normal. Point number 2, it doesn't seem like you're adapting very well to what's happening in the game. So, looking at things, you see a Robo down first. Do you need to get Roach 1 Evolution Chamber? Do you need to play like that? Why can't you go double Evolution Chamber and start to play late game upon what he's doing? Cut corners out of your build and strategy, and you'll come out a lot easier. For example, once again here, you don't need to go Roach 1 Evolution Chamber because there's no aggression coming on early. So you can go double upgrades to help you throughout the mid game and late game, and then you can drone up even harder than you would do usually, because you know early attack and harassment isn't coming. Point number 3, you need to find a comfort point in the game. We talked a lot about that. 1140 to drone to take the gases and to build the 4th base. Usually when he's taking a 3rd base, let me just include that in. Usually when he's starting to take a 3rd. Alright, so seems like you're missing the connection from mid-game to late game. Big points here. That's massive. Creep spread. Use excess energy from the missing lava injects that you've missed from missing lava injects. And make sure that you use that queen, the 4th queen you did in your build. Your connection to late game, and then you start to miss the spine hive timing, the creep, the drones, the spine, the borrow. Basically late game, you're just missing it. So in conclusion, as mentioned before. So Max, thank you once again for sending in your replay, sending in your email. I hope that you have enjoyed this new improved format, everybody. And please continue to send in all of your emails. So send them into improvewithapollo@gmail.com. I'll try my best to get to them. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been Sean Apollo Clark signing out.